What happens when a grocery store CEO trades his corner office for stocking shelves and uncovers something that makes his stomach turn? Zanetti rubbed the back of his neck as he stared at the spreadsheet on his screen. 14 stores. Sales were steady, but complaints had been creeping in. Nothing major, just a few customer reviews about disorganized shelves, expired items making it to checkout, and staff being too busy to help. But Liam had built this company from nothing. Every store had once been a truckload of risk and sweat. Now, it didn't feel like his anymore. He tapped his pen against the desk. "I'm not getting the truth through reports," he muttered. "I need to see it for myself." He chose store 12. Mid-sized, steady traffic, no manager turnover in the past year. That alone made it suspicious. The complaints were subtle, barely enough to raise flags, but something about it itched at him. Liam was in his 40s, lean, with short dark hair and sharp eyes. But today he was Tom, a new trainee from the warehouse division looking to learn the retail side. He wore a company-issued polo, faded jeans, and a ball cap pulled low. His beard was grown just enough to change his jawline, and he'd added a pair of thick-rimmed glasses just for fun. None of the store's 15 staff had ever met him personally. It was a corporate chain now, most only knew the CEO by name. He walked into the store at 6 a.m. sharp. The store manager, a wiry man in his 50s named Craig, barely looked up from his tablet. "You the new guy?" "Yeah." "Tom," Liam said, extending a hand. Craig ignored it. "Shelving team's short. You'll be with Nadia." A young woman with tired eyes and an apron that was a size too big stepped up beside him. "Hi, I'm Nadia," she said softly. "I'll show you freezer stock first." As they pushed a cart through the back room, Liam noticed Nadia moving with quiet efficiency. She explained the layout, date checking, and how to rotate stock. She didn't complain even when the boxes got heavy. "You always stock alone?" Liam asked. She gave a little laugh. "Mostly, we're down 3 staff. 1 quit, 2 called out with flu. Craig says we don't need replacements." Liam frowned. "Isn't that unsafe?" She shrugged. "He says to move faster, so I do." They worked in silence for a bit. Then just past 10, Liam was sent to dry goods with another employee, Ben, a college kid working part-time. They were halfway through restocking cereal when a voice barked from behind. "Don't bother with that one. Use the overstock in the back." It was the shift supervisor, Dana. Her tone snapped like a whip. She was in her late 30s, wore a crooked name tag, and had a permanent scowl. Ben hesitated. "Dana, that overstock's from last month. I think I said use it," she snapped. "It's still sealed. Customers won't notice a date." Liam blinked. "Wait, you mean expired?" Dana turned to him. "You questioning me?" He kept his voice even. "Just asking. Isn't that against policy?" She leaned in. "You're the trainee. I suggest you shut up and follow orders unless you want fewer hours." Ben glanced at Liam, clearly uncomfortable. Dana stormed off. A few minutes later, Liam followed her into the back room on the pretense of grabbing more inventory. What he saw made his gut clench. Dana stood by a pallet of outdated goods, crackers, canned soups, granola bars, sorting them into a cart. Once full, she wheeled it straight toward the sales floor. He followed at a distance, jaw tight. She began filling the front-facing shelves with expired boxes, covering the dates with newer items angled just right. Liam froze. He thought of the customers' families, kids, elderly folks buying things they trusted were safe. This wasn't a mistake. This was routine. He walked back to Nadia, who was now stacking frozen pizzas. "Does Dana always do that?" he asked quietly. She hesitated. "We're not supposed to talk about it." "Nadia," he said gently, "please." "She's been doing it for months. She says it cuts waste." Craig looks the other way. Liam exhaled slowly. His hands were trembling. He stepped into the back room, pulled out his phone, and took a photo of the expired pallet. Then he returned to the floor, helping Nadia with the frozen section like nothing happened. But his heart raced. He'd always trusted his managers to uphold standards. He believed in second chances, in people growing into their roles. But this was different. This was poisoning trust, literally. And it wasn't just about expired goods. It was about leadership. And tomorrow, that would change. Liam arrived 20 minutes early the next day, just as the sky lightened behind the strip mall's rooftop. The parking lot was mostly empty, save for a delivery truck idling near the loading dock and a single employee unlocking the back door. He wore the same uniform, the same cap, and the same quiet resolve, but inside, something had shifted. Yesterday had been observation. Today, he was watching for patterns. Nadia was already in the back room, sorting a pallet of bulk rice with her sleeves rolled up and her earbuds in. She gave a small nod when she noticed him. He didn't interrupt, she was focused, and he needed to see more than just her corner of the store. As the morning crew trickled in, Liam gravitated toward the front of the store, offering to help with produce. That's where he met Rosa, who handled the morning rotation of fruits and vegetables with a meticulousness that bordered on obsessive. "Tom," she said, glancing up as she sliced open a box of avocados, "you ever handled tomatoes?" "Not in a professional capacity," he replied. She handed him a pair of gloves and pointed to a cart. "Sort by softness. If it gives too easy, it goes in the markdown bin. We do it first thing every morning. Customers always buy the top layer." Rosa worked quickly but with care. She hummed quietly as she moved, cleaning as she went and pausing often to check labels and codes. After a few minutes, she glanced sideways at Liam. "You're not like the other new hires," she said. "You actually pay attention." He lifted a brow. "You get a lot of turnover," she nodded once. "They don't last. Craig doesn't train anyone. Dana talks down to people. Most of the kids quit after a week. You ever talk to corporate about it?" She laughed once, a dry sound. "Corporate doesn't answer phones, and Craig makes sure the place is spotless when the inspectors come. He's not dumb, just lazy." Liam kept his tone casual. "So why stay? I've got 2 kids. This job's flexible, and I like the work, when it's done right anyway." He offered a quiet thanks and kept sorting. The bell at the front door rang as the store opened. Within minutes, customers filtered in a slow trickle of early shoppers, mostly older folks looking for deals. Around 8:30, Craig emerged from the office, his tablet in hand and a paper cup of coffee in the other. He didn't greet anyone, just stood near the end of aisle 3 scrolling. Dana appeared a few minutes later, already barking instructions. "Front end needs backup. Rosa, you're up." "I'm not scheduled for register today," Rosa called back. "You are now. I've got a return line forming." Rosa wiped her hands and turned to Liam. "Keep doing what you're doing. And don't let her dump anything old into the fresh bins." Liam nodded. As soon as Rosa left, Dana rounded the corner and pointed to a shelf of apples. "Those aren't moving. Grab the bruised ones from the back, stack 'em high, make 'em look full." "They're not sellable," Liam said evenly. "Not your call. Stack them or go home." He didn't move. "You threatening to cut my hours again?" She took a step closer. "You're here to follow orders. Think I won't write you up for insubordination?" Craig hadn't moved from his post in aisle 3. He was watching, but he made no effort to step in. Liam turned away before his expression gave him away. He picked up a nearby case of oranges and began restocking not the bruised ones, the fresh shipment he'd seen arrive that morning. Dana didn't push it further, but her glare lingered. By noon, the store was busier. Families, elderly couples, a few lunch-hour regulars. Liam volunteered to sweep the front entrance. He needed a break from Dana and a chance to watch the customer service desk. That's when he spotted the first real incident. A woman in business attire approached the counter with a small boy at her side and a shopping bag in hand. "I bought this yesterday," she said, holding up a box of cereal. "It's expired. It gave my son's stomach cramps." The cashier at the desk, a teenager, looked flustered. I'm sorry." "Do you want a refund?" The woman's tone sharpened. "I want to know why you're selling expired food." Dana appeared before the cashier could answer. "Ma'am, everything on our shelves is within date. You must have bought it elsewhere." "I have the receipt. It's from this store." Dana didn't blink. "Then it must have been a mistake. 1 box." "No," the woman said, voice rising. "That's not the point. I found 2 more expired boxes on your shelf today. I left them with your produce guy. Dana's jaw tightened. Look, we're busy. If you want a refund, we'll process it. Otherwise, you're holding up the line. I'll be reporting this, the woman snapped. To your regional office. And the health department. Dana didn't respond. She just waved over the cashier to handle the return and walked away. Liam watched the whole thing from a distance. Rosa returned to produce 10 minutes later, looking irritated. Customer found more expired cereal, she said under her breath. I pulled the rest. Craig told me to put it back if it still looked sealed. Liam's hands curled into fists. He walked to the back room under the pretense of taking a break and found Ben unloading boxes of paper towels. Hey, Liam said, lowering his voice. How long's it been like this? With the expired food, Ben paused. Since before I started, Dana says it's normal. That other stores do it too. Has anyone ever reported it? People tried. One guy got fired last year for violating inventory protocol, that's what Craig called it. He just asked why we were stocking old stuff. Liam's phone buzzed in his pocket. A message from his assistant. Audit reports for store 12 finalized. No red flags. He slipped it back without answering. Craig was good at hiding the rot, but it was there. In the way he kept his hands clean while Dana did the dirty work. In the way good employees were ignored while the worst ones held power. Rosa was doing 2 people's jobs. Nadia hadn't had a break in 6 hours. Ben walked on eggshells, and customers were eating products that should have been thrown out. He returned to the floor just in time to see Dana snapping at a customer in the meat aisle. I don't care what the sticker says, she said. If you don't want it, don't buy it. The man, older, clearly confused, held up a package of ground beef. It says sell by 2 days ago. I just thought you thought wrong, Dana snapped and turned her back on him. Liam stepped forward. Sir, I can help you find a fresher package. Dana turned. I already handled it. No, you didn't, Liam said, his voice calm but firm. Craig finally looked up from his tablet. What's going on? Customer found expired meat, Liam said. Dana told him to ignore it. Craig frowned. Must have been a misprint. Inventory's fine. The older man walked away, shaking his head. Liam looked at Craig. When's the last time you walked the floor? Really walked it? Craig's eyes narrowed. You've got attitude for a trainee. Liam pulled off his glasses. I'm not a trainee. I'm Liam Zanetti. I own this company. The silence hit like a dropped pallet. Dana's mouth parted, but no words came. Craig took a step back. This is some kind of joke. No, Liam said, voice steady. But what you've been doing here is, and it ends today. He raised his phone. I've got photos, witnesses, customer complaints. You've been endangering people and threatening staff. You're both done. Craig blanched. Wait, let's talk about this. No. You hid behind a tablet while your supervisor stocked expired food and berated customers. You let your best employees carry this place on their backs while you made excuses. You're fired. Both of you? Dana's eyes darted toward the exit. You can't just, I already have. Security's on the way to escort you out. You won't step foot in another store under my brand. He turned to Rosa, who had stopped mid-cart. Go take a break. Paid. You've earned it. Then to Nadia, who stood frozen near the freezer aisle. You're getting help. No more solo shifts. Finally, he looked at Ben. You still want this job? Ben nodded, stunned. Good. You'll never have to worry about speaking up again. The cleanup was just beginning, but the rot had been exposed. And Liam wasn't leaving until it was gone. The store was quieter by early afternoon, but the tension hung in the air like static. Craig and Dana had been escorted out less than an hour ago, and word had already spread among the employees. No one said much, but eyes followed Liam as he moved through the aisles. He kept his name badge off and his sleeves rolled up. The disguise was no longer necessary, but the work wasn't done. He stepped into the break room. Rosa was sitting at the far table with a half-eaten sandwich and a lukewarm cup of tea. She looked up, then stood, unsure of what to do. You don't need to leave, Liam said. I just wanted to check in. She stayed standing. I didn't think you were really him. We never see anyone from the top come down here. I used to, not often enough. He paused, then added, "You've been holding this place together longer than I realized." "I just do the job." She rubbed her hands on a napkin. "It's not perfect." "No, but you've done more with less than most managers I've paid salaries to." He pulled out a chair and sat. "What do you need right now?" She lowered her voice. "Honestly, a functioning night crew. We've been short for 3 months. That's why stock rotation's falling behind. And we need someone at the service desk who isn't still in high school." He nodded. "You'll get both. I've already called in a regional team to help close today and tomorrow. I want you focusing on the floor, not scrambling to fix what others broke." Rosa sat back down slowly. "Are you replacing Craig with someone from corporate?" "No, I've seen enough of that strategy. I'm promoting from inside, someone who knows the store already." He didn't say who, but her eyes flicked toward the hallway as if she already had a guess. Out on the floor, Nadia was at register 2, scanning a steady line of customers. Her movements were careful, her voice even, but Liam could see the fatigue behind her eyes. After the last customer left, he signaled to her and nodded toward the office. She hesitated. "Is something wrong?" "Just need 5 minutes." Inside the cramped office, she stood stiffly near the filing cabinet while he sat behind the desk Craig had occupied earlier. "I want to be clear," he said. "You're not in trouble. I asked you here because I've seen how you work. You're consistent. You don't take shortcuts, and you've been covering more than one role without complaining." She folded her hands. "I didn't know who to tell. I thought if I said something, I'd lose hours. You shouldn't have had to choose between safety and a paycheck. That ends now." She looked down. "I didn't think anyone was watching." "I wasn't," he admitted. "Not for a long time, but I am now." She looked up. "What happens next? I'm offering you the assistant manager role. Interim for now. Pay bump included. You'll help coordinate the floor, and I'll bring in external support until staffing levels are stable." Her mouth parted slightly. She didn't speak right away. "I'm not asking for an answer now," he added. "Take the day, think about it." She nodded, eyes still wide. "Okay." As she stepped out, Ben passed her in the hall, holding a clipboard he clearly didn't know what to do with. Liam waved him in. "You've been quiet today," Liam said. Ben shifted his weight. "I didn't think I'd be here this long." "You mean since this morning?" "No, since I started. I figured I'd quit after my second paycheck." Liam leaned forward. "Why didn't you?" Ben shrugged. "I liked the customers and Rosa. She always explained things without making me feel stupid." "You've got a good eye," Liam said. "I saw how you handled that inventory mix-up by the dry goods. You didn't just ignore it. I didn't want anyone buying stuff that could make them sick. That's the kind of decision-making I need more of." He tapped the desk. "I want to move you into a logistics support role. You'd help track expiration data, check deliveries, and make sure stock rotation follows the standard." Ben's brow furrowed. "That's a real thing." "It is now." He left the office shortly after and walked the floor again. A few customers nodded politely. One elderly gentleman in the produce section leaned in. "Place feels different today. Someone finally listening." Liam smiled. "We're trying." By late afternoon, the regional team arrived, 2 supervisors and a payroll coordinator. They slipped in quietly through the back, introduced themselves to Rosa, and split up. One assisted at the register while the other reviewed stock records with Ben. Liam found Nadia in aisle 6, reorganizing a disheveled shelf of coffee canisters. "Still thinking about the offer?" he asked. She gave a short nod. "I'm not sure I'm ready." "That's fair. But I've seen you manage half the store without a title. You've already been doing the job." "I don't want to be like her," she said quietly. "Then don't be, lead differently." She didn't answer, but she didn't walk away either. At 5, Rosa gathered the remaining staff in the break room. Liam stood to the side as she addressed them. "I know today's been strange," she said, "but we've got help coming in and changes are already being made. If you've got concerns or ideas, now's the time." One of the part-timers, a young woman with a bright orange lanyard, raised her hand. "Are we still expected to cover the same shifts this week, or will schedules be redone?" "I'll be reviewing them tonight," Rosa said. If anyone's overloaded, we'll adjust. There'll be no penalties for past absences starting today. Another employee, a tall man from the receiving crew, spoke next. Who's the new manager? Rosa glanced at Liam. He stepped forward. Short term, Rosa's leading the store. Long term, we'll build a team from within. That includes new hires and promotions. What won't continue is what you've all been putting up with. There were no cheers, no applause, just a quiet kind of relief that settled into the room like fresh air. After the meeting, Liam walked the back corridor and found the storeroom mostly cleared. The expired pallet was gone, replaced with marked bins awaiting disposal. One of the regional supervisors approached. We've logged everything and contacted the local health inspector. They'll be here tomorrow morning. Good, Liam said. Let them see everything. He stepped out into the loading dock. The sky had dimmed, streaked with gold and slate blue. A breeze tugged at the hem of his shirt. He pulled out his phone and called his assistant. Schedule me at another store next week, he said. I'm not done. Then he hung up and went back to work. By the next morning, store 12 was quieter than usual. The overnight shift had been covered by the regional team, but the gaps in manpower were still evident. Aisle resets were only halfway done, and the morning deliveries were behind schedule. Liam arrived before sunrise again, dressed down but no longer undercover. He didn't wear a name badge. He didn't need one. He stepped through the back entrance as Rosa finished checking in a delivery manifest beside a pallet of canned goods. Her clipboard was tucked under one arm, and she was double-checking the seal dates herself. You're early, she said, not looking up. So are you, he replied. I figured someone should be here who knows where everything is. He walked beside her as she moved through the back corridor. The inspector will be here soon. When they ask questions, be honest. Don't try to shield the store. I wasn't planning to, she said. I pulled every questionable item yesterday. We've got 3 carts of markdowns, but nothing expired. They stepped into the storeroom. Nadia was already arranging inventory by category, her sleeves rolled up, hair tied back. She glanced up briefly, then returned to checking serial codes against a printed list. Morning, Liam said. Morning, she replied, focused. He waited until she finished a section before speaking again. You think you're ready to take the assistant role? She paused. I don't know everything yet. You're not supposed to, but I trust you'll learn faster than most. She didn't answer, just handed him a list. We've got a hole in frozen stock. The last shipment was short. I flagged it. He scanned the paper. It was neatly marked, with margin notes and backup counts. You did this yourself? Yes, I wanted to know if it was a delivery issue or internal. Call the supplier. Use the store line. Ask for a restock and get a confirmation number. She nodded and moved toward the office. Rosa leaned against the wall and crossed her arms. You're throwing her in fast. She's already doing the job. Title just makes it official. Outside, the store opened slowly. Customers came in with more curiosity than urgency, pausing to glance around. The employee at the front, a temp from the regional team, greeted everyone clearly. Ben stood near the service desk, clipboard in hand, checking shelf rotation tags against the new policy sheet. Liam walked the perimeter, quietly watching. The difference wasn't dramatic. There were still gaps on shelves, still signs of a team running short-staffed. But there was a new rhythm, and people weren't walking on eggshells anymore. He turned a corner and found a young woman in athletic gear scanning the protein bar section. Her brow furrowed as she picked up a box, checked the label, and placed it back. Need help? He asked, just looking for one that doesn't expire next week. She held up a box. This one's close. He took it, checked the date. Shouldn't be on the main shelf. I'll pull the others. She nodded and moved on. He flagged Rosa, who arrived with a plastic bin. We'll need a better threshold on these. Pull anything within 10 days of expiry for markdown. I'll update the policy sheet, she said without hesitation. At 10, the health inspector arrived, clipboard, tablet, and a neutral expression. Liam introduced himself by name only, no mention of title. Rosa accompanied them on the walkthrough, answering questions directly. No deflections, no excuses. In the back room, the inspector paused at the cleared section where the expired stock had been found. This was the problem area, Rosa nodded. We purged everything, disposed of it under logging protocol. We also added a rotation audit at open and close starting yesterday. The inspector tapped a few notes. I'll need to verify that. You'll find it on the clipboard by the freezer, she said. The inspector reviewed the logs, asked for camera access, then moved on to the dry goods section. When they returned to the front, she glanced around the floor, watching employees interact with customers. I don't see any ongoing violations, she said, but I'll be filing a citation against the previous store manager and shift supervisor. This location will remain under quarterly review for the next year. That's acceptable, Liam replied. She handed over a form, signed it, and left without further comment. For the first time since entering the store 2 days ago, Liam exhaled fully. By noon, he stepped outside and made a call to the staffing department. I want hiring priority shifted to store 12. They need 4 part-time and 2 full-time associates across 3 departments. Don't send another application to corporate until this store is fully staffed. When he returned inside, Rosa was at the front end, directing a temp to restock bagged salads. She caught his eye. I've got to go over scheduling soon. I might need to cut a few hours until the new hires are in. Keep everyone at their current levels, he said. I'll approve the overage. She gave a short nod, then returned to work. In the break room, Nadia was on the phone with the supplier, calmly requesting verification on the missed shipment. She wrote down a reference number and double-checked the rebuild schedule on the whiteboard. No hesitation, no second-guessing. Liam stood outside the door for a moment, listening. When she hung up, he stepped in. How'd it go? They're sending the shorted items tomorrow. I added a note to the manifest so it doesn't get missed again. You good to handle the next one on your own? I think so, she said. I'll be checking in weekly. You'll have direct access to me for the next quarter. Anything you need, you bring it up. You don't go through layers, she nodded once. Understood. Later that afternoon, Ben approached him near the front freezer. Inventory tags are off by 2 SKUs. I think we got a mislabel from the supplier. You know how to fix it. I can look up the product code and reprint shelf tags. Do it, Liam said. Ben hesitated. You're really staying involved. I'm not here to disappear again. I'm here to make sure this never happens anywhere else. Before closing, Liam gathered the core team in the back hallway: Rosa, Nadia, and Ben. I'm not going to stand here and make a speech, he said. You've all seen what this store can be. You've carried it when no one else was paying attention. He looked at Rosa. You're getting a formal promotion, full store manager, effective today, bonus included. To Nadia, he added, assistant manager is yours if you still want it. She nodded, this time without hesitation. And Ben, you'll be full-time logistics. You'll report directly to Rosa and coordinate with the regional supply lead. Your pay goes up with the role. Ben's mouth opened slightly. That's more than I expected. You earned it. Liam stepped back. I'll be visiting every unit over the next few months. I want to know what's happening in every corner of this company, and when I come back here, I expect this store to be the standard. Rosa spoke up. It won't be perfect overnight. It doesn't have to be, he said. It just has to be honest. They left the hallway one by one. No applause, no ceremony. Just the sound of carts rolling over tile and the low hum of a store finally returning to itself. And when Liam stepped out the back door into the cooling evening, he didn't look back. He didn't need to. The right people were finally in place.